Hi there, today I'm going to show you how I made this really adorable thank you card doing the masking technique. Okay, so for this project I started out with my Daisies No. 2 die for my Big Shot, and I folded over my paper and doubled it, and I'm going to punch out the smaller, the medium-sized daisy and the smaller of the two daisies to work with. As a matter of fact, I might even use this big one. And I'm going to do a masking technique. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the daisy onto the card. And you know, you can play with this and do this kind of any way that you want. But I'm going to kind of place these around randomly as to where I want them. Let me see here. Okay, like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my snail and I'm going to lightly mask these down. And by doing that, I'm only just going to run some adhesive across the back. And if you have Dado, you could also use that. So I'm just going to, just enough so that we'll hold my flower into place as I'm working with it. And I'll do that for all the pieces. Okay, so I have my daisies kind of put down on my cardstock where I want it. And just so you know, I've cut this at like 4 by 5. You can cut it any size you really want in order to make your card. I'm going to use the Yo-Yo Yellow, and I'm going to start with that color, with it being the lightest. And I'm going to dip my sponge into there, and I'm going to ink up my sponge pretty good. And then I'm going to just go over my flower and just start pouncing the color everywhere. And I'm going to kind of work in variations of shade as I'm pouncing. Doesn't have to be a complete coverage. So I've done that everywhere. And then I'm going to go in with my Only Orange, which is my darker color. And I'm going to do the same step. And I'm just going to ink up my sponge. I'm just going to flip my sponge over because I have a clean side. And it really wouldn't matter. I could probably use the same size. And I'm just going to go in and kind of stamp some of my orange on there. Kind of add another color and dimension. Okay. You can have some white showing through. That doesn't really, you know, doesn't hurt. Okay, so that's what I have right now. And I'm going to go in and I'm basically just going to start removing my mask that I put down. And I'm just going to do it gently since I do have some adhesive on here. I want to make sure I get all of it off. And I'm going to have to go back and pull some of this off, so I'm not really worried about that so much. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And then with this one. Okay. Okay, now where I have some of the paper that's sticking, I'm just going to go in and lightly sand that. And if you sand that light enough, you can actually make that look like that is part of the card and supposed to be there. And I actually like those spots on there. It adds a little more color to the card. And I like it. So I'm actually going to leave it on there. I'm going to take my finished masked piece and I'm going to apply some snail on the back of it. And I'm going to apply that onto a piece of cardstock that I cut. in a coordinating color. I wanted to kind of pick up the orange a little bit that I had in there. And then I'm going to take a piece of my old olive gross grain ribbon, and I'm going to tie a piece of this onto the card, kind of pulling some of that green color that I have. To fix my bow there. And I can shorten these up a little bit. Same with this one. Just shorten it up a little bit. Okay, and so then I've pre-cut 3 pieces of cardstock, and I'm going to put those together. And I'm going to put the next piece on there. Oops. And I kind of need to move that one piece a little bit more. I think I had it up there a little too high. Okay, it's a little bit better. Okay, and then I want to take my basic black, and from my Lovely as a Tree stamp, I'm going to take the Thanks So Much, and I'm going to stamp that onto there. And then I'm just, with a couple of pop darts, these 2, I'm going to apply that onto the back. And then apply that on the front of my card. And there you've got a really cute thank you card. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.